A lot of red-white duels.
Both players on a mulligan of 6. Sacred Foundry #1 to start the finals here in Columbus.
I think Michael Kenney's draws with a lot of removal. He's got a very good shot. Again, the Devotion deck very sensitive to having its payoff killed or having its Devotion disruptive. But if Michael's draw is very creature heavy and that's how he's going to try to win the game, then Kenney is, I think, quite favored.
A Temple of Triumph here for Ketter to start. Keeps the top card on top. It is a mountain. You see Kenney right now does have a mountain and a Sacred Foundry. No Magma Jet here for the Ash Elder, excuse me. So first blood, Kenney going to go down to 18.
Yep. Pretty broad sign here, no Lightning Strike either.
Yeah. Pretty easy for him to have a burn spell to take care of that. Looks like he might have a Boros Reckoner, and he does. So problem number 1 has arisen. But you see Ketter's hand right now, he's got not 1, but 2 copies of Chained to the Rocks.
And no better target for that in this matchup.
Yeah, no kidding. You see, immediately, Kenney moves that Boros Reckoner over. He knows that's getting exiled. Attack for 2 with the Ash Zealot. Kenney goes down to 16. He'll untap those 3 lands. He'll take a draw. And Ketter's off to a pretty nice start here.
Yep, and very good hand as well with another copy of Chain of the Rocks, Porphyros, Boros Reckoner.
So there's a Chandra's Phoenix going to come across in the air. So we're going to see a bit of a damage race here. Ketter going to go down to 18. He'll take a draw. Burning Tree Emissary is not a bad one. That'll actually turn on the god. You see him also pull forward a Boros Reckoner in his hand.
Still needs to find another land to be able to cast Porphyros, but in the meantime, Reckoner a very good addition to his board.
I'll pass the turn back. So Kenney will take a draw. He's at 14. Just with a lone Chandra's Phoenix. Temple of Triumph is where he's going to start his turn. You do see a Stormbreath Dragon in his hand. We'll see if he's got a play for this turn. And he does. Another copy of Chandra's Phoenix. He's going to attack in the air. It's going to be 14 all. And the follow-up is a Chain to the Rocks. Take care of that Reckoner. So we're exchanging back and forth here.
Really critical for Michael to have removal that turn.
Yeah.
As keeping the Devotion count down and trying to win this race. Needs it for both.
Another Porphyros drawn here for Ketter. He does not have the mana to cast that spell right now. So let's see how he wants to navigate these turns. Because he does have a copy of Mizium Mortars. He also has a copy of Chain of the Rock. So we could see Burning Tree Emissary, Mortars 1 Phoenix, Chain of the Rock the other, and then you're ahead on the board.
Yeah, but Mortar is saying a Phoenix in this spot is pretty rough as Michael has a lot of mana. So there's a reasonable chance he's able to actually shoot you and recast in the same turn.
It's not ideal.
Yeah,
but it is something to do, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to Mortars a Phoenix. Looks like he might chain the other one. I don't think he wants to chain the other one, but he might have to.
Well, I would prefer to chain than Mortars because now Kent is without an answer to a Stormbreath Dragon if Michael has it.
That's true.
And it's not out of the question. I mean, he comes to play tap land last turn.
And of course, you can't chain the old dragon. Of course, it being protection from white and everything. So I think you're priced in and just having to do this.
This is the play he has to make the way that he played this turn. And now he just has to hope that there's no Stormbreath Dragon. And
there is. Oh, there is. Kenney was holding one. He's going to attack Ketter down to 10. So if you're Ketter, you got to draw a land like right now. See what he finds. There's a mountain right on time. Starts by attacking for 4. Going to put Kenney down to 8. That is a Porphyros. Thumbs up past the turn back. Kenny's going to draw a card. Let's see what he's able to find here.
So a Lightning Strike is lethal?
There's an attack.
No, Lightning Strike is not lethal.
It's going to put him down to 6. Just a Reckoner? Oof, that's a good one. So Ketter's going to untap. He's going to draw. A card like Burning Tree Emissary is actually going to be lethal here. Let's see what he finds. It's a mountain. And I think Ketter's in a bad way here.
Well, can he just send everything and... Oh, Ash Zealot complicates things.
I mean, the problem here is the Reckoner. I think that's the only card that actually matters here because if Ketter doesn't attack, Kenney just says, all right, attack with both of my guys. And then you just die because you can't block my Reckoner effectively because you're at 6.
Right, and he doesn't have enough. And he doesn't have enough mana to double pump.
Yeah, if he draws a Nykthos that turn,
right,
then Kenney is actually dead. But since he doesn't, I don't think there's anything he can actually do to get out of this situation. So that's your big problem. I think Ketter might be coming to that realization right now. We'll see if Kenney does see the play on his end, and he's just going to concede the game. So we're going to have Michael Kenney win game number 1. Looked like he was in a bit of trouble there, but Stormbreath Dragon, heck of a magic card, able to pull that one out.
Yeah, I think Ken probably could have waited one more turn on that Mortars on the Phoenix. Because if you make a land drop, you're happy to cast your Perforos that turn instead of casting Mortars on the Phoenix. If he casts Stormbreath Dragon, you're going to be really happy that you had the Mortars left over. And if you fail to draw a land, then you can Mortars the Phoenix the next turn if Stormbreath Dragon doesn't get played. So I would have held off for one more turn, but that Stormbreath Dragon went in contested, and Michael was able to take game 1.
All right, so it's time to give away the full year of premium. So me ask or you ask? Your call. Me? All right, I'll fire away. Rules me.
Again, Cedric's going to ask you a trivia question.
That's me.
You are going to tweet that answer at SCG Live and hashtag at SCG Premium. We will draw a correct answer at random, and that person will receive a full 12 months of Star City Games Premium.
All right, my friends, for 12 months, a full year, next weekend, we're going to do a show. I say we, but actually he.
Right, not you.
And Matthias Hunt. I'm going to have the weekend off. So where are you, Matthias Hunt, going to be next weekend on the Open Series? If you can name the city that we're going to be in for the Open Series, hashtag the answer, hashtag SCG Premium, and make sure you're following at SCG Live on Twitter, and we will draw one answer from the people who do get it correct, and we will announce the winner at the conclusion of our final round. I'm excited to have a weekend off.
I believe it.
I am.
I get 2 weekends off after Baltimore. That's the second time that's happened. But I actually didn't say the whole thing, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we could be anywhere in the world next week. We could be in... We're going to cut to the match. You are horrible.
I didn't actually
You ruined everything.
You said actually the time that you did that, you actually gave the full name of the city
I did
away.
give the full name of the city.
Whereas that, for example, for a European viewer who's not that familiar with American geography,
trying to dig yourself
they still
out of,
have to look.
Trying to dig yourself out of a hole here. I see what we're doing.
I'm just saying there are degrees of errors. Yours was far worse. That's all.
We're going to do this?
Yeah, sideboard time.
You always have to win. You are unbelievable.
Let's go to the boards.
Yeah, let's go to the boards. You can take a look at Ketters first.
A Chain of the Rocks, 2 Assembled Legion, 4 Boros Charms, 3 War Leaders Helix, 2 Wear Tear, 3 Anger of the Gods. I really like the Chain of the Rocks. I really like the 3 copies of Anger of the Gods. And I really like the 3 War Leaders Helix. Those are the card type you're bringing in here.
Michael Kenney's side, he's got a Pithing Needle, 2 Stormbreath Dragons. Probably going to want more of those after what they did the last game. 2 Chain of the Rocks, going to want those too. 2 copies of Last Breath, 2 Wear and Tear and Elspeth, 2 Anger of the Gods, 2 Glare of Heresy, and a Mizium Mortars. I actually like Glare a lot here as well. Be able to take care of Boros Reknor, also Chain of the Rocks. So that's probably going to come in additional Mortar. Seems like it's pretty good in this matchup. Don't know how much we care for Anger of the Gods. Don't know if you want additional Elspeth. I'm not entirely sure the game is going to go that long. And then you've got 2 Wear and Tears. I don't know if you want more removal for a card like Chain of the Rocks when you're boarding in Glare of Heresy, and then 2 Last Breaths, which can be okay in this matchup, but I'm not entirely sure the cards that Last Breath kills are the ones that matter.
Yeah, I think that he is. I think Wear Tear actually may be okay here because I think both Chain of the Rocks and Hammer Perforos are going to be in Ken's deck and potentially powerful in the games. But there is definitely too much removal that one can have for Chain of the Rocks, and if Michael wants Glare of Heresy, which I agree with you, it's very good against Chain of the Rocks and Boros Reckoner, he may be overloaded with removal for those cards. So we will see. I'm not sure I like 2 Glares and 2 copies of Wear Tear, but I like some mixture of the 2 cards.
Well, we'll see how these players do opt to sideboard here as Michael Kenney, again, does win the first game, and he's looking to get a trophy, get his name out there. Again, when we did the coverage in Indianapolis, it's so easy to, have the story be about Owen Turtenwald, one of the best players in the world, Andrew Shroud, one of the best players on the Open Series circuit, especially when he's playing his innovative green-white deck to so much success. And it's almost like we kind of forgot this guy on the right here. Michael Kenney even made the top 8.
Yeah, I mean, we only get to cover so many matches and so many stories, and there's 700 people in the room. So a lot of really good finishes kind of fall to the wayside, but no more after this weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is a name that you will probably become very familiar with moving forward, especially when we're in this area of the country, as he is really doing a nice job of just getting this deck on people's radar, establishing himself, as a rather good player in the Open Series circuit. Again, Indianapolis, 11 rounds of Magic. To be able to make your way through that tournament and that field and just that amount of players to make the top 8 is already impressive, but then to come back 2 weeks later, make it through a 10-rounder with, again, a very high-quality amount of players and be in the finals, potentially win the tournament. That's really impressive stuff.
Yeah, 2 in a row is no joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it is tough. no matter what your skill level is or how high quality your deck is, 2 top 8s in a row in roughly 700-person tournaments is just a real challenge.
But he's not your champion just yet. He does have some resistance here on the left. Ketter, who's had a fantastic tournament, has not lost all weekend with this red-white devotion deck. And to be fair, when he was an indie, he got up to a great start as well. 6-0, 7-0. Ended up losing 2 in a row to miss the top 8. He was very frustrated by that, but he has the opportunity to go undefeated over the course of this weekend, and he could be your champion. We'll see how these next game, or potentially next 2 games, do go.
And I was, a little concerned with him bringing in Anger of the Gods in his top 8 match against Funnel Blue Devotion. He's definitely been aggressive bringing in. This is the one match so far he's played where I think it definitely improves his deck dramatically. It's especially good against Young Pyromancer and Chandra's Phoenix.
So we will see the players lay out their opening hands here. Ketter will be on the play this go-around. We'll see what kind of hand he can run, because to be fair, I thought his hand last game was actually quite good. As you mentioned, maybe he just pulled the trigger a little bit too early on that Mizium Mortars. It made sense, I think, in the abstract, but then he ends up losing to a single card in Stormbreath Dragon.
Yeah, it just seemed fairly low impact given what Michael's board was like at the time. Of course, he has to be concerned about taking any points of damage there because Michael does have quite the burn element in his deck, but I think it was 1 turn too soon. He could have waited 1 more.
All right, so players are going to look at their opening hands. We'll see what's going to happen here, and Ketter says no thank you, as does Kenney. So both the Boros players are going to take a mulligan.
I believe that was also the case in the last game.
Mm-hmm. Both players decided on 6. And to be fair, both players had pretty good hands on 6 last game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I think these mulligans favor Michael. His deck is less predicated on assembling a mixture of stuff.
Yeah.
Just more independently good action, so.
I am right there with you on that one.
Neither player happy to mulligan, of course, but I'm sure Michael would prefer for both players to be on 6 or 5 cards than to be on 7.
Don't forget, at the conclusion of this match, we will announce the winner of our full year of premium. We'll have a winner's interview. In the sideboard with Ruben Bressel, you see him right now next to Ketter. He's typing up this feature match for you guys. He'll interview the winner, present the trophy, and then we'll be taking a break to grab some breakfast. And then we'll come back, and we'll start in round 3 of Legacy here in Columbus. We do have our players filtering in right now this morning in the Greater Columbus Convention Center. Probably have 9, maybe 10 rounds of Legacy action. And at least one man we know will be here.
Oh, yeah.
Kenan Haas, our Indianapolis champion with Jun Depths. We'll see him play some Magic. That's for sure.
And Ken, I think, is looking at Nick those and 5 red cards.
Yeah,
if I'm
I
not
think
mistaken.
you're right. And yeah, he's shaking his head. He's setting that back, and it looks like...
Oh, no, I think there might be another land in there. Another Sacred Foundry.
He doesn't look thrilled about his keep, that's for sure. But Kenny is actually the one that's going to send it back, so he's going down to 5. And it looks like Ketter might be keeping a bit of a sketcher.
Yeah. He's been very expressive through the elimination rounds.
He's an expressive guy. He used to live in the Seattle area. He lives in the Bloomington area by Indiana University now. We talk on occasion online. Good guy. Met him. I actually met him, I think around the 2008, 2009 area. I remember playing against him in a Open Series tournament way back when. I was playing Turboland. I met Luis Scott Vargas. Got 2nd place in that tournament. Perhaps you've heard of him.
Yes.
With Turboland. And that feels like forever ago.
Ken and I spoke a little bit before the elimination round started today, and actually very involved in, professionally involved in managing competitive paintball teams.
I did not know that.
Competitive paintballing, so.
You were right, by the way. It is a one-lander. Oh, okay.
Oh, boy.
Makes it look easy. A Skyland. See if he can find a mountain, and he's good to go, as Kenny does have a Sacred Foundry.
Wow.
That was a timely draw. Let's see what Kenny has. He has a Young Pyromancer. Ketter draws. Oh, that thing is dead. Mizium Mortars that. Your turn. Ketter with a Chain of the Rocks as well.
It appears as he has brought in Last Breath.
Okay. Top card's going to go to the bottom here for Kenny. Pass the turn back. Ketter takes a draw. It's a Wear Tear. He passes. So Kenny will draw a card. He plays a mountain. He passes. Boros Charm the draw. Getting a little awkward here.
Yeah.
maybe the use of the Mortar is going to come back and hurt Ketter again, and it looks like it's going to. Here's a Storm Breath Dragon.
I believe he has a backup Mortars.
Okay. He's got a backup Nykthos now.
Well, that's less valuable to have here.
Yes, I'm inclined to agree. As there is missing Mortars, take care of that Storm Breath Dragon. Kenney going to draw a card. Does he have another dragon? He does not. Ketter draws. It's a Fanatic of Mogus. He's got 3 of those now. Is it time to discard yet? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it is time to discard.
Oh.
Yep. Decisions for the Red-White Devotion player.
I'm really curious to see Boros Charm in this deck because in the post-board games, Michael's deck can't reliably overload Mizium Mortars, and Ken is definitely the control deck in the matchup, it feels to me.
It feels that way to me as well.
Yeah.
I think I would be okay discarding Boros Charm in this situation, but maybe you want to discard a Fanatic. I feel like running Fanatics is a way for him to steal the game. Looks like he's going to discard maybe a Nykthos. All right. Pass the turn back. Kenney will take a draw. Plays a Mutavault, passes back. Ketter, Storm Breath Dragon. He cannot find a 3rd land. He was fortunate to find a 2nd one, but he needs to find a 3rd one. Discards a Fanatic, passes the turn back. Kenney draws a card. It's a Magma Jet. That'll at least smooth some things out, but he'll start by attacking with Mutavault. Going to put Ketter down to 14.
And this is one of the nice things about having these deck lists is he's aware that that attack is basically a freebie.
Mm-hmm. No Magma Jet or Lightning Strike to worry about.
Right.
Well, Ketter does draw a Sacred Foundry. He's just going to put it into play tapped and pass the turn. Kenney going to go upstairs with that Magma Jet, try to find some real action here. So, 2 cards.
Especially Storm Breath Dragon. I mean, that's really the one we're looking for here.
We'll see what Kenney does find. He draws a card, Chain of the Rocks. Fire up the old Mutavault, bash for 2. Ketter draws Boros Reckoner, which he cannot cast.
Yeah, for as long as he's been kind of sitting here doing nothing, Ken actually doesn't even have much of an explosive Nykthos draw to enable now. He has Burning Tree into nothing this turn, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's a situation where you do want to cast Burning Tree, however. Just get that on the table.
Yeah, oh, he needs to get something into play.
I just see him cast Boros Charm for 4. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's just not willing to cast that Burning Tree. He needs to find another copy of Burning Tree to do anything to begin with, so he's just going to wait.
Ketter going to go down to 8. He'll take a draw. It's a Sacred Foundry. Not exciting. He looks like he's going to go down to 6. So this is a Burning Tree Emissary. Trigger on the stack's good. Activate Nykthos. And now this is a Boros Reckoner. Pass the turn. Jet's going upstairs.
Got a lot of draws here. War Leader's Helix. Storm Breath Dragon.
Consult the hand. You see him looking at a Mortars.
I think even though overloaded Mortars, I mean, it's close to doing it.
Both cards are going to go to the bottom. Ketter's trying to fade. It feels like the world here.
Yeah.
Take a draw. That
Storm
is a
Breath
dragon. And that is going to do it. Michael Kenney with Red-White Mid-Range is your StarCityGames.com Standard Open champion here in Columbus, Ohio.
A brew. It's a brew.
It's not mono blue. It's not mono black. It's not even a Sphinx's Revelation deck. It is red,
not
white,
green, red
mid-range.
devotion. That's just a brew.
Yeah. Congratulations to him. He has a top 8 in Indianapolis, and he has a win here, and he is going to put himself on the leaderboard. We don't know if he's playing Legacy or not, as he does shake hands there with Kent Ketter in a hard-fought victory, but one heck of a tournament here for Michael Kenney, and honestly, a heck of a 2 weeks.